But first, we wanted to chat a little bit about how and why we started this podcast, because I don't think we shared that story, Amanda, and I don't think people really know it. And, I think it's a little interesting. So I'll hop into it a little bit. So Amanda and I really found each other on Instagram. What was it like? Well, you were on the Running Explained podcast, and then I was, and then we sort of met each other through social media, and that's how people meet these days, in the normal world of. And so then, we just followed each other and liked each other's content, and then we met through our mutual friend Vicky, and at the New York City Marathon, and we took one photo, and that's our only photo. And that was like the first time we met, and we have only really talked on Instagram, right? And so I wanted to do a podcast for a couple of years, and I was like, I need the perfect co-host. And then I was like, oh, I really love her content. I love how in her face she is. I was like, exact opposite of me. I was like, I just love this energy. And so I basically kept manifesting this thing, and I'd send her a DM and I'd be like, hey, podcast, that sounds like a great topic for a podcast. Should we do a podcast? And, so we finally, I think I finally convinced you.
Yeah, I mean, you say manifesting. I don't know that you said trolling wrong. You said trolling wrong. I think that was our journey together. And no, the image that you see on your podcast listening channel of choice is not actually us. That is a cartoon of me and Nick. That's not really us, because Nick's right. Nick and I only have one photo together, and Vicky's in the middle of it.
Yeah, we thought about just putting. We were going to write over her
in the middle of the Upper West Side.
Just write text over her. But yeah, and so I think the interesting thing about that is I think a lot of podcasts are started, and they're family members, or they're like best friends for 85 years, and they're like, let's do a podcast. And like, what's fun for all of you listening, and for me and Amanda, is like, you are watching our friendship basically grow, right? Every week, Amanda and I are learning things about each other we didn't know, because we basically know nothing about each other. Yesterday, I learned she's Jewish, so just learning, right?
And Pesach to all who are celebrating this week.
And so, like, every week you get to be a part of this growth of friendship, right? And so, it's a fun little journey we're on. We thought it'd be fun, because we don't really know each other, to like have this podcast where we get a chance to do that and also talk about coaching things. So yeah, anything to add on that, Amanda?
What I love about Nick and I are so different, as some of you know, because you follow us closely, and you've now listened to us for 90 minutes, unfortunately for you. So you know that we have different approaches, but our values are the same. And the other thing that I really love about Nick is, and I consider myself similar in this way, he is always in your corner. He's on the hype squad. Even when he doesn't know you, he makes you feel seen. He makes you feel heard. He's cheering for you. And I felt that, even though Nick and I had met only one time. So he's an obvious Kobe, aka co-host.
I love that.
So thank you for trolling me into being your co-host.
Well, thank you for the kind words. And it was, I knew I'd wear you down. It felt like it was going to happen.
I was exhausted. I was honestly exhausted.
So we wanted to share that with you a little bit, just a little bit of the why and the how behind us and how we got to this point, and a lot of growth with us coming. So Amanda, do you want to head on to our listener love portion of the episode?